Going live. All right, we are live. Welcome back. This is MarsCast 23, or welcome
20.
to the stream if you haven't seen one before. I'm excited. We have special guest Yaboi and Morecox. How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing fine, great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same here.
Awesome.
Bit late, but it's also always a bit late.
It's always late. It's always late.
It happens.
It's us Europeans being way in front.
100%. Now, we just had a special event in Million on Mars. Cannonball
We did indeed.
3000.
It was a big event. Top prizes were lots of dusk. So what, 100k? I mean that's a lot of dusk, and even the follow-up prizes were pretty big. What were they, 50k? And I don't remember the third one, but it was still quite a large amount.
No, wasn't even more than 100k. I think it was
25k.
125. Yeah,
Was it 125? Wow.
the multiplier was at 1.25.
Don't tell anyone.
That's insane.
Multiply.
But only if your boy grabbed it first.
Yeah,
if,
I
if
did.
If the second place would have grabbed it first, it would have gone to 1. So
So we have the winner here. We have your boy. Congratulations, your boy.
yeah.
Well done.
Tell us, what did the event detail? What was the task that you had to do to participate?
Well, there was to drive your rover as far as possible, and you had the different tiers of distance that you could do. And I always would want to go the furthest distance by doing the quote unquote hardest one.
Mm-hmm.
And I must say I was really lucky with the requirements because I had an abundance of power cores that I purchased for the aerospace update. And before any of the buildings got released, I stacked up 1,000 of them.
Wow.
So I still had a lot left over.
How many do you
So-
have now?
We don't talk about that. I let's see. I think I got about 300 left or something.
Oh wow. So
Okay,
you did
perfect.
go through a lot of power cores. Okay.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
a lot of cores has gone to aerospace as well.
Okay.
The bad thing is that it consumes the whole thing. You don't get the empty core back. Just
Yeah, you
takes.
see, the empty
everything.
core's gone right down in price anyway. It's only like 20 dust for an empty core, but yeah, I
Yeah.
suppose it's still quite a lot and adds up.
It adds
But
up,
yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. And how many rovers did you break?
I have no idea, but I remember because I'm not a hauler's guy. I started out with 2, and then I had to destroy a lot of the other rovers and build them up. But that's quite fast. That only takes 16 hours. But at one point, I was so low on dusk and rovers, and then I crashed 4 in a row, and I was so just
It
But you
happens.
won it by a country mile. I mean, I'm just having a look at the stats here, see if I can find it.
Yeah.
So you were.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let me see if it loads. Hold on.
I'll tell you what.
30.
Why didn't you take your foot off the gas if you had such a lead, or did you not want to risk it?
No, I don't want to risk it, and I wanted to threaten my competition.
Yeah.
to go to the socials and be like, you don't want to do this,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Intimidate them.
because I am very, very, very willing to lose a lot of dusk just to get first place.
That's cool, man.
So you got first with around about 35,000, and then
Yeah.
Melange was second with 26k.
But he was trying.
He was trying. Well,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, he's safely secured 26k and second place, but the pitch battle was for third
Oh,
between Loy and Irin,
Mhm.
and that was nip tuck all the way.
The last 10-15 minutes
Nice.
it was really funny looking at it.
Yeah.
They just went for it.
And
I like that.
I think Irin ran out of power cores and then couldn't get them. I think that's what happened.
Yeah,
So-
they did shoot up in price like
They
crazy.
did?
They dropped like from 70 to 120 or something, and there was just no liquidity left. Then.
Yeah, they bought the market out. So it was, yeah, a nip tucker kind of event, and it was a good event. I mean,
Yeah.
it was dominated by the larger players. It always will be, but I still think it was a good event to run. It was certainly inspired a lot of interest, and yeah, congratulations. Remind me not to do that one.
Yep. I think maybe like that particular event might have like lent itself to like a bigger player, but some of them are pretty fair depending on what it is. You know, like the variety of tournaments we're getting now is pretty cool.
Mm.
I mean, it is really interesting because you look at it, and yes, that was an event for the larger player. I mean,
Hmm.
125k reward is a big reward.
That's huge.
And you're not going to get somebody pitching up who's got one rover and one power core and win it. It
Hmm.
was never aimed at that. But you've got the other ones like the coffee one. You've got the other ones like I don't know, the Dustworks landing grabber hopper. You can win that with very very little. So there are some events out there which are for everyone. But yeah, that was very targeted, that one.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
this was kind of Eric's attempt to like make something new. So now we get like a discussion thread like how to make the perfect event.
Hmm.
So it's fair
Yeah.
for everyone, because over time we want it to be fair for everyone,
Yeah.
even though bigger players will always have some sort of advantage.
Hmm.
We should be able to come together and make like a just
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
for sure.
the raffle system's very good for that, and you
Mm.
have seen people with one vote winning it, or certainly in the top half. And I do like the fact with the Dustworks Grabber Hopper event that any of the top 25 rewards are worth having. They're all schematics, they're all great for aerospace, and
Hmm.
maybe that's something which could be factored in. But yeah, making one event which is right for everybody is going to be very hard, and maybe you just end up with tailored events for subsections or however you do it. It's going to be good to see.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think there should be like a tier system or a bracket system or something, because way wars are always fun. Like if they want to, they can just go at it as hard as they want.
Mhm.
But these then of course aren't for lower level players, and in the perfect world you have something for everyone where they can compete in a even playing field, because otherwise it's just not really fun or engaging for them.
Makes sense. I get it too. Like, yeah, if you already know, like, you have no chance in hell, like, even if you're on top of your cooldowns, yeah, that kind of feels bad. But maybe they could do like a maybe this is a bad idea or a good idea. I don't know. Like, you know, you have like your bronze league, your silver, your gold, diamond, or whatever. Maybe there could be something like that. You know, where you get some kind of ranking. I don't know,
Yeah,
skill based.
base it on the English Premier League where you
Mhm.
get promoted and demoted depending upon your success in the previous tier, or
There
yeah,
you go.
something like that.
Yeah, there's always a way.
There's always a way.
Let's
But yeah,
see.
no,
Yep.
congratulations.
Yeah, congrats, man. That's it.
Thanks.
I tell you what do you guys think? Will NFTs be as crazy as last bull cycle, this next bull cycle? And are NFTs the future? If you want to think about it for a second, I'll start. I think it's gonna be just as crazy. You can even find like NFTs that are still selling out like crazy. You know, it's not as crazy as last time, but there's still collections that do go really quickly. There still are like, you know, 5 to 10x gains out there that people are looking for stuff like that. And just with the access of like NFTs giving you access, I think that's a huge thing. And just owning your own assets, I think that is just massive. What do you guys think?
Bill Morecox.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be like the last time. Like
Mhm.
it's not the newest hottest shit and everyone dumps in, but I think the future is like the play to own and have your own assets, and if you sometime don't want to play anymore, you can just sell them off and at least make something back or something. That's great. And I think there's like the entry cost are for most of them are pretty steep still, but maybe this will change in the future.
Yeah.
Yaboi, what do you reckon?
Ooh, that's a hard one.
Hmm.
I've not thought too much about it, but I'm sure we're going to see a lot more NFTs that have like sort of a function. I think those are going to be more popular this time around. That you can't just have like the normal, hey, this is a rare picture, ooh, expensive. Like they have to have a function, a
Yeah,
purpose,
I
and
think you're right. I
that's
think you're
what
right.
I've seen many projects have gone towards. They have gone from like, oh, this is a rare picture to, oh, that this is a rare picture that can now do this. You want this?
And we kind of saw that in Mom with Martisans.
Yeah, we did.
It's kind of the same thing. And when you look at other sort of games, they're either using it for a building or for a character or for something else. So I'm kind of in agreement with you, Boy, on this. And also with Morecox, I don't think you're going to see the stellar explosion that you saw last year. But NFTs are becoming much more prevalent in the world. I mean, Ticketmaster are doing a lot of stuff now, cheap memento type NFTs. I'm sure they'll get ticketing on it as well. So I think the actual concept of NFTs are going to be more understood.
Mm-hmm.
But equally, I think it's much more of a tool as opposed to it's an NFT, so wow. Um, Going back to your boy's point, I think it needs to do something, and I don't think the mere fact it's an NFT is going to mean that much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what about the future, though? You think there's a bright future for it? I don't know if you guys heard, but like California is supposed to be doing like some D&V titles with NFTs. I think that's pretty cool. Hopefully it succeeds. If not, that could set back some of that
I
title
mean,
stuff. But
the concept of an NFT
Mhm.
is digital ownership. So apply it to whatever you like. I think it's
Mhm.
massive. And as long as it remains a way of being uniquely digital and verifying ownership, I think it'll be huge. The world's crying out for it. I mean, even in the UK at the moment, you can sell a house
Hmm.
without owning the documents. It happens all the time. But
Really?
if you've got an NFT which actually states your ownership to it, um, yeah, you could apply it to loads of things. So I think they will be huge.
Sounds good. What do you guys
Yeah,
think?
I think we always had these this ownership thing, like people sold their accounts
Mhm.
and sold their skins and something, and now we get a tool to have this to really have this like allowed and legally, like you most of the time you weren't really allowed to do account sharing or sell your account and stuff, but now you have this in your own hand and you can sell it at any time you want, and um, it's yours. Like it's really yours. Not like yeah, it's your account and you can sell it, but we can ban it anytime or something.
Yep. And you pay for it, but you have no control over it, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Your boy, what do you think? Are NFTs the future?
I mean, yeah, I I would imagine, but I don't think we will are going to call it NFTs necessarily. Just like
Mm-hmm.
as you guys said, digital ownership.
Yeah.
I think it will over time just be seamlessly integrated into our everyday lives.
Yeah.
Maybe
I agree.
maybe in 5 years, like the banking system, for example, they're going to rework it eventually. I don't know which
Mm-hmm.
in which direction, but I think it's going to be more a bigger part of life, even if you want it or not.
Yeah.
Facts.
So,
I almost kind of
I
wish
mean,
like the NFT name would just drop and we just treat them like they're just assets. You know what I mean? And just I don't
yeah,
know.
just
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I
I think that will
guess.
happen.
Yeah, because you
I
say
think it'll
NFT and
absolutely
people
happen.
kind of some people cringe.
Uh,
Like if they're not
yeah,
into it like us. And
Yeah.
there's kind of like a bad rep there a little bit, but it's already being used. I mean, the Microsoft Store on the Xbox, I believe, uses NFTs. There's all kinds of background systems using blockchain technology too, and people just don't know about it. And I think that is probably the way to integrate it more into the ecosystems out there. But let's see what else we got. Power cuts. That's no good. Where is this happening, Felix? Is this in Texas? What's going on here?
So yeah, I mean, Eric did do a little bit of an update in Founders Chat.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the guys have been struggling with power cuts out in Austin, Texas, which has really slowed down this
Right.
week. Um, we haven't seen many content drops at all, if anything. and we did have a quick Martisan sale. But in reality, it slowed down a lot, and it's very hard to do development and coding and programming and all that sort of good stuff when you've got no power. So it's kind of understandable that it's a slow week, and I just hope it's all over now and the guys can get back to doing what they want to do. Eric was saying that they were working from coffee shops and buildings which did have
Mhm.
power, but yeah, I mean that's hell. The last thing you want to be doing is worrying about how you code a game when you're living by candlelight.
Oh, for
So,
sure. Yeah, I
but
could see
that's
that.
why it's been a quieter week. And it's funny actually. It's when you get faced with that situation where we get no update in a week, it feels really unusual. It
Mhm.
feels a slow week, and it's just like, oh, what's going on? And we're spoiled, really spoiled in the fact that we're used to frequent updates. We're used to a weekly change. We're used to weekly new content for us to get our teeth into. And then you go and have a look at other games, and they don't have that. And I
Mhm.
feel, yeah, okay, maybe we are quite lucky to have the team that we do have. Because in reality, not having an update in a week is the norm.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know how you guys found it, but that's my kind of take on it. What do you reckon, Morecox?
Well, like you said, this week was rather slow, but I think that's because Mitch was doing some work where he was mostly preparing stuff for other game designers or for other people that can then work on his template and then push out stuff. So
Mhm.
even with the GDE, there's of course still stuff that has to be designed first and thought out and then put into the game. And yeah, if you lose like if Eric has no power, then there's Kyle that has no power and Max that has no power. So there's three people already that do stuff that have no power. So yeah, it's kind of bad, but I think like we have seen. I think we talk later about this too, but we have seen what the GDE really does and how it worked before and how fast this will likely be. So
And that,
I'm excited to see when the power is back and when we get these
yeah.
Nice.
weekly updates again.
I mean, I'm curious to see because I know they're opening the GD up to more of the team, and certainly from that point of view, it'd be good to see what maybe not hardened trained coders can do with the GDE to see what content we can get. And I know they're talking about doing missions with some of the community and
Mhm.
all of that sort of good stuff. I know we'll be quite keen to see what extra stuff we can then get from that. So here's a question then. What one thing from the GDE do you hope to see?
Ooh.
Boy,
Oh, I know exactly what I want.
What?
go on then.
Oh, I want like a really degenerate like glitter gambling system. Like I want my lucky wheel, and I want to spend all my glitter on it
And come out with nothing.
and
What
come
what
out with nothing.
what would you want that top reward to be? If you could have a glitter wheel where you're showering it with glitter, what would you
Mm.
want to be the absolute top thing?
What would be the
Oh,
bottom as well?
Oh, okay.
oh, dirt is always on the bottom,
Nice.
Soil,
like
yeah.
like
Oh, yeah.
soil, and it's gotta be an artifact on the top, and it's gonna be
Okay.
like um
Ooh.
maybe even a lot of glitter rewards, so that you
Okay.
always like kind of get something back, but not everything. You know, standard casino.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I would love to see something like that. And if nobody makes that within the first week, I will. I
All
will take
right.
the tools and I will try to make it.
What if it'd be like
Nice.
a Planko
Morecox?
board where you put the thing in the top and then it just bounces all over until it gets to the
Yeah,
bottom?
sure.
You know?
Oh, the
Yeah, sure.
bagatelle.
I don't know what you call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I'm saying the one over here right, but whatever. You get it, right? You put the
Yeah.
ball on the top, it's like a pyramid, and then
Yeah.
it never
Yeah.
lands in the good one,
Yeah.
you know?
And what I really enjoyed that Eric said in that video was that if you like kind of make something really cool that they can integrate into the game, you may get some of the like rewards if it's like a cycling thing or something. Like you will be rewarded, and maybe you want to make something for your own settlement, a gimmick just for you, maybe for everyone. So it's this is like creative in Minecraft. You can do whatever you want, and
I mean,
that's
that
that's
is
exciting.
cool. Yeah, I mean, the ability to create your own version of events, your own implementation where people can come and do whatever it is that you've chosen to do, and to profit from that. So you've used your creativity to create something within the game, and then hopefully take it wider. I mean, that is really powerful. That
Mm.
does mean that we can multiply up the content in the game hugely. Um, yeah, I think you're right. I mean, that'd be great. I'd love to see that actually.
Yeah.
Morecox, what would you go for?
Yeah, I think it's the same for us all. Like the stuff you can do then, like the if you bring your own stuff into the game, like in your own settlement, and make your own leaderboards or tournaments or whatever. And also, Eric has shared another video in Founders Chat about the Hex mini games
Mhm.
that might be coming soon or not.
I haven't seen
and
that.
we have
Oh.
seen, like, it was just with some random art and nothing really worked yet. But
Okay.
he showed what we can do then, and I think this is really cool if we can do our own like type of games there, our own.
So what was he showing in this video then?
Well, it was some random art. It looked a bit like Settlers of Catan maybe.
Okay.
Okay.
And it was like a scavenging mini game, like where you can go from plot to plot, and then you can scavenge there, and then you either fell into a hole or something, and then you were game over, like
Mhm.
if you dig too deep or something. And
I
yeah,
like
so
that.
just
That's
like some
cool.
fun. Yeah.
I would like
Nice.
something like that where you could potentially fail and start over. So if there's like 5 levels of progression, a lot of people are trying it out, and you get so far, and then you mess up, maybe you kind of die or whatever, or you just don't succeed, and you just kind of go back a level or go back all the way to the zero. I think something like that would be kind of cool, because then you're gonna try to beat it. Like it's a game. Like and then whoever wins first, I guess, takes the prize or whatever it is. I don't know.
And tying that into the rest of MOM and the rest of the marketplace, so that
Hmm.
you generate demand in the market because of that, that would be huge. Because that gives the game sustainability, and yeah,
Yeah.
like the sound of all of that.
Yeah.
Did you, Santi, did we want to skip ahead a little bit and jump to a later topic about Eric's video on GDE?
Oh yeah.
Since we're talking about the GDE.
We never go in order anyway. Might as well. Why will
Yeah,
we start today?
let's bounce around a
All
bit. I
right,
mean,
go ahead.
hell, live wild. So I don't know how many people actually saw the video from Eric on the GDE. It was a really useful video to watch. It did explain a lot. And when he went through the spreadsheets at how it had just exponentially grown,
Hmm.
yeah, you could understand why they needed this tool. And for me, it was kind of a couple of bits. It was the team's realization that they needed something to take the game to the next level, and doing the GDs helped them to do that. I think that's really powerful, um, and it shows a good degree of
Hmm.
um, self-awareness, and yeah, sort of experience in this field to know exactly, okay, yes, we need to spend some time on tools because we've got to that next stage. So I was quite pleased to see that. But you could understand how it is going to escalate or shorten the time to delivery of new content. You can really see how it's going to benefit. So certainly recommend, if anyone hasn't seen it, to go and watch it. It is about 45 minutes long, but well worth it. And it gives a good history as to where the game's come from, and what
Hmm.
it looked like at the beginning, and the fact that this isn't just a 1 year development cycle. It's been going on some time. So but yeah, I mean, be curious to know your guys' thoughts on it. I mean, you boy, what did you think of the video? Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it, and I'm like really excited. I don't understand how they have been able to create this much content in the old system at all, because it's mind-boggling how hard that must have been. And of course, I now understand every single bug we have ever had in the game.
Well, yeah, and hopefully what we should see is less bugs because of the fact that they're not got so much hard work to do just to figure out what they've got.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even if there are some, they can just fix them right away because they don't have to search for it if they know where it is, they can just figure it right out and then fix it.
I mean, what was your general views of the whole thing, Morecox? So,
Yeah, I kind of knew how it was set up, not how it exactly was set up because I obviously don't have access to that, but I knew how it likely was set up because I have dabbled in the game data and made my own tools and stuff, and so I knew how it was likely set up, and it's just it wouldn't have scaled any further. Like this works at the very early stages when you have 3 or 4 buildings, like Eric said. We had 10 or 20 recipes or something, then this works, but not if you have like 5,000 recipes and nobody knows where the loot table is, and the loot table is then recursive within itself. It does have some reference to something else, and there's a huge problem, and a huge thing the GDE fixes is that only the people that really have worked with this system could have designed something, because only they know where to look for stuff. And now
Mhm.
everybody, even people without any coding knowledge or any knowledge where to find the stuff, like it's an UI now. They can just click the stuff together, like Eric showed,
Mhm.
and this enables so many more people that probably didn't have the skill to do it before to do it now, which will just speed up things so much more. This is what I think is the biggest impact that people maybe don't see from the old system to the new
Are you
system.
are you saying I could do it? It's that
Yeah,
easy? All
yeah,
right.
it's
I
the
like that.
every like everyone that has ever used a browser can probably use. This is like drop
I
downs, and
mean,
you click and stuff, and then
now you're putting a
so
lot of pressure on me. Like if I can't get it to
yeah.
work.
Well, this loops back to what your boy was saying earlier,
Okay.
is that using the GDE,
Mhm.
you will be able to create your content for either the settlement or just in general, and you can become rewarded from it as well because you then become
Mm.
a game content creator, which now, of course, all of that's still in the works and still in development, but that's the plan for it. And for me, that's phenomenal. Is that you can spend your hard-earned energy, get some recognition for it, but also create something truly what you want to see in the game. Um, so yeah, it is good. Morecox, are they looking to release? I mean, they're going to have like a verification or a sort of approval system before it gets dumped into the game, aren't they?
Hmm.
You're not just going to be able to create content.
I don't know
Come
exactly, but
on.
I would say so. Yeah, I think Eric said we will get access pretty soon. I think it was planned either this or next week, but now they have this delay because of the power. On a test net or something, like
Yeah.
not on the actual game, of course, but where we can just play around with it and do whatever we want, just to get to know and feel how it works with the GD. And of course there are still bugs and stuff, and the more
Mhm.
people that work on it, like like Felix said, we will get this tool at some time, and we can make our own content, and therefore we should get to know it and find out what are the pain points with it.
Mhm.
Why does something don't work like you think you do, and then you give that back to the team, and they can improve it, and then they give it back to us.
I'd be happy
But
to
I
try
don't
it.
know how it works with the live game data. I don't think we can we can just put our recipes in there and
Throw it
break
in
the whole
there.
economy.
Let's go. Hey, that's what
I
used to
don't think
happen.
that's
Just you go ahead,
going to work.
guys.
Chuck
Yeah,
it
go
in and
nuts.
go. Chuck it in, go. Let's nerf the hell out of it because we got it wrong.
And the first thing we do is start gambling.
Over to you, boy. You see, the
Oh.
analogy I have with this is I don't know if any of you ever played Black Desert, a game I played for ages. And they released a game called Shadow Arena, which was a battle royale in amongst the actual MMO game of Black Desert. And it was hugely successful. Everyone loved it. They could do their own character, develop their own character, do all of that stuff, and then just vanish into a battle royale for half an hour to play with their mates. And there was links between the worlds and rewards transferable between the worlds. I see exactly that with the Hex minigame. And I see exactly that with some of the other stuff which we're doing, is that you may play Mon, but you may only play the half hour in the Hex minigame, but that'll be enough for you to carry on the development of your overall Mom Empire for when you do have more time and you can pick and
Mm-hmm.
choose how you play. And I think that's going to be really, really important going forward.
Makes sense. Yeah, yeah. I also have a sup to Morecox. Someone says sup, not what's up, just sup.
So,
And
Right?
yeah, so that's pretty cool. Let's see here. Somebody wants. Arthur wants to know when Martisan breeding. Anybody?
Not in my household. We're a
Ooh.
very strict no breeding policy.
I think Kerry was very against this word, but
Mm-hmm.
maybe now we can push it through. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not sure I'd want it. I'm not
No.
sure I'd want it. I feel it would probably break the game. I mean, do it for some NFTs for pretty pictures,
Mm-hmm.
maybe. But I'm not sure with functionality.
Yeah, no,
I think it makes sense.
not like how they work currently. I don't think that's good in any case. Like if we have,
Mhm.
they are already pretty overpowered as they are, and
Mhm.
like they have stuff like that. The dusk you can withdraw and the glitter you can withdraw. If you can just infinitely make them or make more of them, like maybe some version 2 Martisan or something that isn't as good as it is now. But yeah, I mean I like it. It's 10,000 flat now, and
Mhm.
it's fine. Even if you have like a million players, that's pretty rare then, and rare things are good.
I could I could see them doing like pets or something, or something entirely different, having a different functionality
Chickens.
entirely. But
Chickens.
I
Yeah, we got chickens.
yeah, chickens or
Come
foxes.
on.
I'd send me
What?
foxes in.
What? Okay. I like on Mars. Early stages. Is a fox beneficial? Really? Probably not.
It is. It clears the way for more runways for aerospace.
No. No.
Certainly
Maybe. Maybe.
does.
I mean, I would think at least maybe a dog. You know, or
But you could go with a dog or horse,
mhm.
goat. You could go with a whole load of stuff like that. Um, but yeah, I mean, but you'd end up having to do something different with a completely different use case and a completely different approach to it, filling in a different aspect of the game. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Or it could be another food source. Like I don't think chickens will be the only thing. I think they mentioned cows at one point, or maybe we did. I don't know. You know, what between what we kind of speculate on and what they say, it's like for me, it's getting jumbled in here. So because
yeah.
we speculate, I mean, you were talking about
We make up so
lasers
much,
and
don't we?
monsters at one point, and maybe that can
I am
come with the GDE. I don't know.
hell yeah. I'm having raids on my GDE stuff with
Mm-hmm.
great big laser cannons and all this sort of stuff. Hell yeah.
Clash on
Green
Mars,
monsters. Yeah.
nice.
Hell yeah.
I like it. I like it. So, how about this topic? How to plan for aerospace?
Yeah, so this was a couple. So there's this and then there's life science because certainly the two big end games, and this is almost coming more to the whale type of thinking. These are the two big routes to what is seen as end game, or I can't remember what they called it. They had a special term for it.
Elder.
Elder game, that's right. And
Mm-hmm.
these are the first two. I'm sure there will be more, um, but these are the first two. Now, they're not fully developed, they're not fully complete. We don't know a lot about them really. So you're kind of left as you're playing today is, well, how do I prepare for them? Which ones do I choose? And what do I do about it? Um, so it was kind of an open question as to which one would you pick and what were the steps which you went through to get yourself in a position ready for it and what are the steps you're about to take.
Mm-hmm.
So who wants to go first, your boy or Morecox? Which one of you?
I can go first.
Go on then.
I'm going to talk about aerospace
Okay.
because I have completely abandoned the chickens.
Why?
I do.
Why did you abandon them?
No.
I have abandoned the chickens because I need to concentrate on some specific things. This game is way too big to like jump in between and get signets in every category. So I just decided I want to do aerospace.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And if I'm going to describe aerospace in 2 words, I think I would say surprisingly expensive.
Yeah, hell yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Because it seems kind of simple. And the genius thing I think Mitch and the team did is that pre-release of like some of the buildings now, and like the Martisans having an advantage before the players could get XP. Because frankly, we needed it badly.
Yeah.
Because this is a hard skill to get experience for if you don't have
So how
Martisans.
did you get your experience?
You know me, I cheesed it.
You threw
Okay.
dusk in it.
No, yeah, I threw dusk at it because there was a quest line in the Duskworks Landing where you could trade concrete for random XP, and I figured out that you could get quite a decent chunk of XP in aerospace and
Okay.
every other skill for that matter doing that. So I threw a lot of dusk on it. But now they released the update where you can do the ground control station missions as a player.
So which one
So
do you do?
I do the what's it called?
Virtual hopper.
Yeah, virtual
Yeah.
hopper. Because at stage 5, if you do it yourself, it does not cost any stamina, and you get quite a decent chunk of both XP and research credits. And research credits is something I've seen you other guys have a lot more of than me, because I abandoned like the ground control station quite quickly after they arrived and just went straight for the Vulcan, which was maybe not the best idea, because I've seen in the shop that there are going to be schematics for the engine itself, I think.
Yep.
If I'm
Really?
not completely mistaken.
Yeah, there's one, the Velociraptor
I'm
engine
go-
or something.
Yeah, there's one for like the engine building, and then there's one for like the engine, or
Yep.
maybe even a schematic to make the hopper. So you're going to want the research credits.
So I didn't know if that was a typo. I didn't know if the schematic hopper, the schematic craft Velociraptor, and the Velociraptor engine, and the schematic craft hardened concrete tiles, those 3 should have been recipe. Because there's not a hope in hell that they're going to want to have a schematic for every concrete tile you make.
Oh,
Okay, I know for a fact that the concrete is a recipe.
Yeah.
If it says schematic, that's obviously a mistake.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
So I
yeah,
thought that those 3
has been confirmed already that it's
Yeah.
supposed to be a recipe. I don't know
Okay.
for the other 2s, but the concrete one is a recipe.
Yeah.
Oh, good enough.
Yeah.
So okay, so which order would you do your buildings in, or which order did you do them in?
Oh, I started at the Vulcan and the rocket fuel factories. I
Okay.
maxed a Vulcan. You need to max it to upgrade the slag capacity so that you can make spacecraft components. Like, this is extremely expensive to do. This is
Yeah.
not for new players. It's insanely expensive, and it's going to be even more expensive in the future when we have less of like the steel and aluminium, because those are quite an abundance of right now.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
later we're going to need to smelt them when they finally decide to remove them from the rovers completely.
Mhm. So what would you
Make
recommend? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Go on then.
Yeah. Then I maxed a rocket fuel factory, a common one, because Jesus Christ.
I know that feeling too.
Yeah. So you can make impure methanol or
Methanol.
yeah, something, and then put it on the fuel tank. Which I realized today, you don't need to make a shit ton of
Whoops.
canisters.
Yes, I did tell you that. You don't need a lot of canisters. But
I had like this plan going on, like, yeah, I need 100 canisters so I can make 100. But
no,
I
that's what
didn't.
a fuel tank's for.
Yeah, I realized today.
That's awesome.
Oh,
Whoops.
Whoopsie
so
days.
the only thing which myself and your boy was talking about earlier was about pure versus impure methalox.
Mhm.
And certainly the impure methalox, if you've got the max level rocket fuel factory, is the most efficient. However, given that we're in a waiting cycle, and given that actually you're probably churning out quite a lot of, if you're prepping for it, you're probably churning out quite a lot of fuel anyway. You can double up your fuel tank by doing both, so that you can actually store more fuel so that when you're ready, because we've got no idea how much these things are going to consume, you might end up going through your fuel really quickly, and having your tank store of both types of fuel might be a good idea. We have no idea, we're guessing, but it just allows you to double up on your capacity in your fuel tanks.
That's a really great tip if you're doing aerospace.
So which order would you do now that you've done it? Which order would you do your buildings?
I would definitely start out with a ground control station
Mm.
to get the experience you need, and it's kind of like a nice gateway into the skill,
Mhm.
because it's not too expensive. I mean, it's quite a shock that you need to like set it up, so you can't just buy a lot if you're a whale and just set everything up, because that's going to be expensive. But like have one, have two, do the tasks. If you have a Martisan, you can give him a bit of XP so that you can automate stages 1 through 4, and then just do the 5th stage yourself.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
And then after the ground control, where would you go?
Right now, I would go to the Vulcan, because you can't do anything without the rocket. What do you need fuel for if you don't have a rocket?
If
You
you can't
can't
build
even.
a rocket.
Yeah, you can't even sell it on the market. Once you fill the canisters, you need to use them yourself. Like when you fill them from the fuel factory, because then they become quote unquote too unstable for the market.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, so you can sell the canister with the impure methalox in. So if you want a rocket, you're going to have a fuel tank, because that's the only place you can convert it into rocket fuel.
Yeah, or you will going to need to rent a tank.
Yeah.
And fill your canisters that way.
See that being painful.
So if anybody wants to start like a premium Methalox station on Mars, please do so.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. X on Mars.
That'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Fuel prices are already way too expensive here on Earth. Anyway.
Facts.
So
But
one of the things which I wanted to draw people's attention to is you see the price of the schematics going for quite a lot in the marketplace. So you see a rocket fuel factory being, I don't know, 5k, for argument's sake. What I think people don't appreciate is that that's the cheap bit. When you start adding in the 500 glitter that you need for it, when you start adding in all the other bits, it gets very expensive very quickly, even once you've got the schematic. So don't be fooled that you're going to buy a schematic and the rest of it's going to be pretty cheap. It's all hideously expensive.
I agree, but I also don't think like that aerospace is like all the other professions we have. I think aerospace is, like Eric said, kind of part of the elder game, so it's really for very advanced players, or maybe then for settlements where 10 or 20 or 30 people work together and they buy one ground control station for the settlement, or then two, and then they build up like that. Because yeah, as you said, it's the entry costs are already high, but it's just the beginning. It really gets
Yeah.
going from there.
Mhm.
Okay. Morecox, what are you doing?
Actually, neither. I'm not really into aerospace, and I do life science at level 75 something. I don't. I have 2 eggs, but I don't have any chickens yet, and I don't actually plan at the moment to do that. I'm more a machining and chemistry guy, but yeah, I can't really talk about aerospace. I don't have any aerospace buildings. I
So
joined.
are you going to do it?
I don't know yet. Maybe, but I'm like I know that I'm too small at the moment to do it. Like there's no way that I can afford. Like I could get into it, but then I just be stuck right at the beginning. So I'm not going to do it and focus on my areas first. Like it's like your boy said earlier, you can do one, maybe two things in this game, but you just can't do everything. It's impossible.
Mhm.
Like it's way too complex and way too big. And even if you have, I don't know how many martisans your boy had, probably like 150 or something.
How many
But
have you got, your boy? How many
2K.
martisans?
1, 2, 3.
oh,
Oh,
123.
okay.
not too
Gee
far.
whiz.
But
Mhm.
even with that many, you just you can't do everything. It doesn't work. Like it's too
Mhm.
complex.
Yeah,
And
you'll be
So,
there
yeah,
all
so
day
so
trying to send them out, you know? Mhm.
I'm sure most of them are automated. I just can't get my automation to work. I just don't understand it. I need somebody to tell me how to do it. But that would be one for a YouTube video, I think, for someone to tell me how to automate a bloody Mars.
Step by step.
So, yeah. Um, so, what is it that you're doing on your loop? So you're saying your chemistry and machining. How do you spend your time?
I'm mostly making tools at the moment. Like they give good XP, and I'm still leveling up. And they also sell quite fast. Like not instantly, not like stuff like
Mhm.
regular for ice or something, but they sell in like a day or something if you're cheap enough. And they are not super profitable, but also not bad. And also, you use them yourself all the time, so I need them anyway. Um, yeah, that's what I do in machining, and for chemistry, I mostly make methane and some coffee, and yeah, not too much, but
I tell
mostly
you,
machining and tools.
I tell you the one which I came across. Concrete.
Yeah,
Now I
concrete's
just
good.
make concrete for the hell of it because A, I want it for aerospace. But
Mhm.
then some whale will go to the market and buy an absolute metric boatload of concrete, and the price will spike. And at that point, I just dump all my concrete. And then I go back just to churning it over time a little bit. And it's not particularly high skill level,
Mhm.
but it's one of those where it's going to be a need. I'm quite happy just to sit on my concrete stockpile for a while and then just dump it whenever it spikes. And it's done
Yeah,
it 2 or 3 times. And
yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
There's always sometimes someone buys like 3, 4, 5,000 from the market, and there's just no liquidity, and then you go and sell yours
yeah.
for 12 or
My last batch of like 400 concrete got me about 5k, and I'm like, crikey,
Wow.
okay, I'll take that. Um, but yeah, it's not a particularly complex recipe, and yeah, I just buy stockpiles of sulfur when they're cheap, and then just dump it to the market when it spikes.
Nice. Hey,
But
that's
yeah,
a big
okay.
tip right there.
Shh, don't tell anyone. Just don't put it on the internet, all
If
right?
you're paying attention. Now we're pretty far into the stream now and into the video, so some people might
So-
miss that one.
yeah,
That's why you
yeah.
stick around and listen all the way through.
So, 30 asked a question to me. How
Mhm.
many martisans have I got? I've got 33,
33.
which, yeah, for me, I, I, I kind of did a mixed bag on it. So I did a lot at the start, um, got about 20 or so, and I've picked up a few more as we've gone along. But recently, I've been buying level 100 martisans, even if they're common, just to unlock certain skills for me. So I've got a mining one, a machining one, and an electric one. Um, the mining is a gamble on the future for aerospace. I'm feeling that there might be a need for having some level of mining at a high one. The electric is for my charge power cell 2, which is the only one I do in the thorium reactor, and the machining is to make my tool packs. Because my route to market, yes, I'm big into aerospace. I'm like Yaboi, but smaller. But I love recipes. I love the fact of being able to make something which isn't freely available to the market. So I've spent a lot of time in lockboxes trying to get the recipes that I need.
Yep.
I do make quite a few tools myself and sell them. You'll see me spamming a lot of mining tools because that's my shizzle, because I can make those with my Martisan. So certainly that's what I like. So the lockboxes are a loss generally. So I'm praying to get the recipe I want, or I will buy them from the market. I picked up an obsidian, God knows why, machining pack recipe, which is
What's that one?
175
Yeah.
skill level, but it's
Jesus.
my bag. I like it, and at some point I'll be able to get something there to use it. But it was 5k. I mean, it wasn't the end of the world. But that's
Like,
what I'm doing.
if you get it and are able to make them, like, even if you're the second or third person that can make them, you can still make pretty good bank on that, I guess. But 175 is really far away, so
Really far away. It's a long-term play, but it's
Yeah.
also, I'm of the opinion that I don't have to provide the stamina myself. Somebody will be selling it somewhere, and having the recipe will still unlock it. Even if I
Yep.
pay 20, 30, 50 stamina for the recipe per stamina dusk, it could well end up working very well for me because not many people are going to have that recipe. So
yeah, it's like the artisan scav tools. They require 150 machining, and was it Dennison or someone has Beto, which has 150 machining, and they sell stamina for like 100 a pop or something, and
yeah,
people buy it because they want the artisan scav tools.
yeah.
So yeah, that's quite good.
Yeah, and I think Cheese said to me that you can level it to 175, but I mean that's going to be hideously expensive. But
Yeah, if you have a artisan, that's already 150, you can do it. If it's below 150, you can't because
can't.
there's no
There's no
you can't
specialization to 150.
specialize.
Yeah.
I can.
So I would pick up a Martisan at 150. It would be expensive, but machining I'd do. Probably fabrication. But yeah, um, the one which I'm not doing a lot of at the moment is life science. I am with these guys. You have to specialize. There is no point trying to do everything because not even the biggest whale can do it. Can they, you boy?
Absolutely not. But I will comment that you mentioned the lockboxes, and those are great ways to make profits every time there is a new release of a new building. Because until now, they have always released the common and uncommon shards of new buildings within copper lockboxes.
Yep.
So if you make a lot of copper key jammers, I will buy them because I've used surprisingly little glitter to upgrade my aerospace buildings. I would rather open boxes because I also think the glitter prices for shards are too expensive. So you always want to you want to acquire and upgrade your buildings, but you don't want to pay too much for it.
Yeah.
Solution: copper boxes.
I did a lot of copper boxes. That's how I got a lot of my recipes. So I ended up with a full suite of expert tool recipes just from doing coppers.
Yes. It's so much fun.
Yeah, it is. I also have like
knives. God, that bloody thing.
I have like 50 food shards. Like, what is the building called?
The food warehouse.
Food warehouse. That's not even in the game, but I have the shards. So
Yeah.
Nice.
I gave
I'm
up
prepared.
selling them. But yeah.
Get them now.
Anyway. Yeah.
So how about this? We have how to maximize profit, charge your own cells, and low stamina options. I guess that's supposed to say.
Yeah. So this was my comment around You frequently hear new players say, I can't make any dusk. I'm like, okay, that's a valid point. It's not an easy game. It's not something which you just pick up and go, there's click my profit.
Mm-hmm.
You need to think about it. But there are lots of steps that you can take, and it's open to the guys to voice which ones they would do to ensure that you end up with maximizing your profit. So the ones which I had as a very basic ones, and I've probably stolen them all here, is well, get to power sale 3 and charge your cells yourself. And then it's a case of, well, what about tools? There is the calculator on DigiPedro now, which helps you calculate your tools, and that says buying novice isn't the most efficient way of maximizing your returns. You need to save up and buy some bigger tools because they then make you cost less for actually each one of the tasks you do. But there are some other tips and tricks you can do. I don't know, guys. Have you got any specific ones which you like, just to try and trim every last bit of cost out of your cycle?
Yeah. Like I don't have. I have a settlement, but mine is really only for myself at the moment because I'm still building it up. So don't join mine. But there are settlements you can join. Like your boy will probably make some for he will probably tell you about his own settlement. But yeah, join a settlement, and like you said, look at the tool prices because they really add up. Like for mining, it's if you buy a novice, it's 2.5 or something per mining tool, and if you buy like, I mean, yeah, it's expensive to get a master tool because they cost like they put you down like a thousand dusk, and you just have 600 tools in your inventory, but they go down like one dusk per tool charge. That's insane because the mining free task they cost, I don't know, like the input
5.
costs are like 16 dusk or something, and
Yeah.
and eight of that dusk is in tools, and if you half that, you suddenly make profit with a recipe that wouldn't be profitable if you do novice. So really make do your research and look at how you can decrease your input cost, but
And the tools
also
are
yeah,
available now, because that was always the big accusation
yeah,
against it. It's like, well, I want them, but I can't get them. They are harder to get, but they are available.
yeah, and also like don't trust DigiPetrol blindly. I mean it's a great site and everything, but don't trust it blindly. There's so many variables that you have to set correctly for it to work correctly, and if you don't, it won't give you the right number. So maybe do it for 1 or 2 or 3 tasks. Do it yourself. Do the math once or twice, and then you get the feel of it. Make it your own spreadsheet and look into it. And don't sell everything right away. Like do a chain. If you start with something and build it up and do the next thing and the next thing, you save 5% on market taxes for every step of that chain. That isn't really shown on DigiPetrol because he just assumes you buy everything and then you sell everything, um, which likely isn't always true, and you can save some dusk there.
Yeah.
I like that. I think
What steps would you take, you boy? What things would you do?
Join my settlement.
Well, to be
Well,
fair to you,
you
boy,
can't
you've
miss
got a
it.
really good point.
I
You
mean,
can't miss it. What does it look like?
it just started like a
Mhm.
Christmas thing, like, hey, I'm going to make this building free and this building free, and then I just decided, screw it, I'm making everything free, and
Mhm.
I thought a bit about it, and like this year I kind of like tried to learn some new games within the crypto space, just checking out what else is out there, and it's been rather annoying to come into an existing project and you need to cash out so much money just to be able to try and see if this is something for you. So making it free gives people like a chance to explore the game, try to see if they like it without paying, and I think that is great as long as we're able to like uh, take out the abuses, because
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure there are some people in my settlement that are not here to play the game fairly, to put it that way.
Got you. I hear it's almost
that,
full too.
oh yeah, it is. I gotta start kicking in inactive players, so that's
Uh-huh.
that's
all right.
fine.
You can send them our way. Ours is free too.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I feel a little bit bad because the intention wasn't to kind of like steal the spotlight or stop profits from other settlements. Even the devs kind of thought about it, and they may need to add like minimum prices because of
Yeah.
my little experiment.
So, I mean, you are known as the game breaker. So if you play it, it's going to break. I think you did it to Rovers, and now you're doing it to Settlement. So it is a bit of a brand you have.
Yeah,
But,
that sounds like my brand.
but
But
it is good because then at least it's controllable. You can stress test at the big end and make sure that that it's suitable for everyone. So it is useful.
mm,
And certainly in our settlement, we do the same. We have free buildings, but the reason we do it is to try and build that community because we're a big group and community based one, and that's to ensure that when we do the group missions, when we do all the big stuff, that there's people there to go enjoy it together, and you can talk about your successes or failures in one happy mom place, and people understand what
mm,
you're talking about, as opposed to my missus who looks at me blankly and says, "What the heck are you on about?" So that was the whole point of ours. But yeah, it requires people to be there and making dusk, and we've got some initiatives going on shortly, which we're going to try and help to make it easier for people to use and become profitable. So
mm.
we will never be the biggest guild. We're not aiming to be the biggest guild, but what we are aiming to be is the friendliest. So
Yeah, because that sounds like a major advantage compared to mine. Because I will just say, "Screw you, figure it out yourself." And and if a building is full and people are complaining about it on Discord, I will literally just give them like uh, a higher rank, give them some dusk, and say, "Fix it yourself."
yeah. Well, yeah.
So it's more like just throwing you out there. So I would honestly suggest going for a community if you really want to stay with the game and learn, because there is lots of ways to make profit if you just know
Yeah.
how, and you need to understand the systems, and you need to understand the market and how the game works, and that there is still so many opportunities.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so that's where we're myself and Santi are much more focused on, that is to make
Mm.
sure that people are understanding, using the tools that we've got to try and make sure that they can make the most of it and enjoy it,
Yeah.
because it's takes brain power. It's not just a simple click.
Absolutely. I think my biggest tip probably for the maximize profit part would be take a look at the cooldown of what you're thinking about doing. If you're looking at DigiPedro, maybe it says like 200, 300% like ROI, and it's going to be great. But if the cooldown takes forever and then what you make doesn't have very much volume, you're going to be sitting with that item for maybe a little longer than you want. So consider volume on the marketplace for what you're trying to make, and consider the cooldown too. Like if you're trying to spit up things faster, then something with a long cooldown is going to need more buildings. So it's just, I don't know, food for thought. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good tip.
Yep.
The only other bit which I would say is what's your stamina. So there are things, if you are truly trying to maximize what you're trying to do, everything that you use to give you stamina has a different cost. So snacks is cheaper than feasts, and Slava Ukraine is cheaper than beer, and mushroom cake and mushroom tea are horrendously expensive, same as pirate radio. So you need to make sure you're doing the best possible use of your stamina. Yes, it may mean you have less, but if you want more, you're willing to pay more. Um, but that may well just help your profit margins.
Absolutely. And drink more coffee. That's 100%. Like, I'm not gonna tell you to
Wonder why
make
you
it.
say that.
I'm gonna tell you to drink it. Okay, drink more coffee.
Are you doing the prep for life science?
The prep.
Yeah. Are you going into chickens? Are you
Oh
doing
yeah,
any of that
yeah,
stuff?
yep. Doing chickens. I'm doing the whole life science bit. Probably cooking when it comes out. So I'll probably drop chem or not level it up much after that, depending. Hire it out, whatever. But yeah, life science and cooking.
So how have you prepped for chickens? What have you done?
Well, I bought the egg from you. I got
yeah.
the 2 chickens. I got 3 hatcheries, but they're all kind of small, but it should be fine. And that's about it. I'm kind of sitting waiting for like everything to be plopped in. So I'm not like trying to stockpile the feed and things like that. Maybe I should be doing that. But for right now, for me at least, it's kind of a distraction that I can't do right now. So I'm trying to get my composters set up to where they're constantly running versus like, constantly being moisture full. And it's an ongoing battle. It's like a quest, okay? That's my tip. Okay, if you don't want a quest, avoid the composter. Just buy the fertilizer, buy the soil. But no, it's a fun building. I love it. I just it's one of those you really have to think about when you use it. So yeah. And I've used your boy's grind and brews before because I don't know if he still does, but he used to rent them out. He's got a few mythics and things like that, legendaries. And I was behind on my cooldowns. My grind and brews aren't as great, so I hopped over to his habitat because you can rent from there, and just cranked out some coffee that I was behind on. So it was like that's another thing too. Like if you're not in a settlement or you are in a different one, look for the habitats that rent out for a decent fair price or whatever you're looking for, and you can get some stuff cranked out really fast if you're behind on cooldowns.
I think what you're telling me is that we need more grinder brews in our settlement.
No, we got enough things we need.
I think that's what you're
No,
saying.
no, delete those. Just burn them. Okay.
You don't want the competition.
Don't need it. Don't need. No,
Oh, dear.
no.
There's also the achievements, like for new players that
Mhm.
don't have done too much. They should really look at the early achievements that they can get in like a day or two, because
Mhm.
they oftentimes give tool charges.
Yeah.
Which is great because you can use them for your skills and don't have to for your recipes and don't have to pay for them. Like you can't sell them on the market; they are already opened. You have to use them, but it's still a free input. So
Mm-hmm.
you obviously can't repeat that uh, infinitely, but just get a few of these. Join some tournaments that just complement what you're doing already anyway, and even if you don't win, you just get, I don't know, like a free coffee or something. It all adds up at the end. Like
Mm-hmm.
for the coffee tournament, if you do coffee anyway, why don't join it? Or the machining tournament, if you do machining anyway, just join. Like I joined it. I did go really hard and I was place 2. Like
Oh.
from points, the first point has 41k and I had like, I don't know, 53, and this was a ref that I got placed, I don't know, 27 or something. So I guess I got shafted really hard, but it doesn't matter. I still won something, and I
Mm-hmm.
would have done it anyway. So I just got something extra for the stuff I do anyway. So
I like
just do
that.
these things.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of where like some of the fairness comes in because there are like lower tiered rewards that are actually pretty good. Like I know it's not like the grandiose prize, but just getting something is cool depending on what you get and what you're looking for, I guess.
We want
I
to
got,
see
I
you in
got,
the
I got some papers and I need them, so that's great.
Hey, papers are
we,
always good. Yeah.
papers are always good. We want to see you in the coffee tournament, Santi. We want to see how good you can do.
I missed the last one. I was so
Gotta
bummed
do it,
out.
mate.
I was
Gotta do
ready
it.
too. I got my rare candy. I'm ready to go. Yeah. Didn't
It's all
happen.
talk, no action.
Right? Next time. I'll be in the next
talk.
one. So
Nerd's going to give you a hard go.
I hear you. We are about an hour in. We have one last topic. We want to respect your time. We definitely appreciate having you two here. We have make your own food or make your own food power or buy power. What do you guys think? What do you guys do if you want to say, you know?
Well, I make my own power,
Mm-hmm.
but only with the margins that can do power charge free. Like I don't do 2 and I don't do 1, obviously. And sometimes if I really need a lot of power, I do pay for free because for power charge free, because that's better than buying, I think. But yeah, you just have to check at the current prices. They always change, but you
Mm-hmm.
just have to check. Power charge free is always better if you can do it in a max level building because you get the stamina reduce of 1. And food, I always make it. I think it's currently cheaper to buy it, but I do make my own seeds and I do make the soil and the fertilizer and everything. And the chain is so long that it's probably still cheaper to make it my own,
Mhm.
but it's also really complex and I don't want to do the math, so I just make it myself.
Totally understand. Your boy?
I have kind of a rule of thumb. I always buy everything I need, unless the liquidity is bad,
Mhm.
because
Okay.
I don't want to let anything stop me. If I need something, I need it. I'm going to pay the extra. So for food, power, whatever, I need so much of it, like insane amounts.
I
So
think
I just don't want to bother with the greenhouses and the solars. I'll let the others do that for me, and I'll just buy the finished product.
Are
Good
you
deal.
using your 8-hour stamina on the artisans? Are they always eating and always doing stuff?
No, I've only housed like a fifth
Oh,
of
okay.
them or something.
Mhm.
But I have like a small squad that I use for rovers, for example, and it's just like if I need it, I must do it as quickly as possible.
It's a question, you
So
boy.
Makes sense.
yeah,
How often do you? How long every day do you play for?
yep. You see, this might be a bit surprising, but not too much. And I only play if I like genuinely have time. I'm not like, oh no, I need to do my rovers before bed.
Mhm.
Oh no, it's Monday or Thursday. I need to do the save mission. If I don't want to for whatever reason, I just don't do it
Yeah.
because I'm not playing for like the margins. I'm not playing like to be the most efficient
Mhm.
person possible. I just want to play to have fun and relax, and I love like making, like planning and making like the big things. So
Nice.
aerospace, that's
Is up your
perfect
street,
for me.
that one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no thought about it. So I can't wait for the new buildings to make some engines to make the hoppers
Heck
and
Yeah.
see
yeah.
what's up.
Oh yeah.
That's cool.
Can't wait.
That's cool.
Mine's a little different.
Mhm.
So I straight up buy the food. I'm
Okay.
in the your boy camp. I cannot be bothered to make food, and as long as it's there or thereabouts, I really don't care.
Mhm.
So I just buy all my food. My power, I might go to the Yaboi method, but currently I job it out. So I just do Power Cell 3 and I just send it to the market. I put my rate at 3 and it fills at 2.5 or somewhere around there, but it always instantly fills. And that's how I do it. And I've got some solars. Um, Generally, I run out and I have to buy more. Um, because I am making my own, invariably, I never sell the empties because I break that many. I'm going to use the empties anyway, so I tend to end up selling the empties. Selling the broken ones and just filling it up with new full ones
Mhm.
whenever I need top up, and that tends to be how I cycle it.
You sell the broken ones, repair them. They give so much
Ah,
XP.
oh,
They give the
what do I want XP for?
machining XP, chemistry XP, and electrical XP. This recipe is just so broken. You
Triple.
have to do it.
I've got Power Cell 3 as well.
Put a Martisan on it. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's got to be one you can put
Yeah, I
on that.
might.
Yeah. Why
Well,
not?
yeah, I'll figure out what level it is. I might
Mhm.
put one on it if it's kind and deserves a special treat.
That's cool. That's cool.
Oh, I just checked how many broken I have. I've never bought a broken one. I don't usually repair them, but I have 7,000 broken cells.
Dang.
Yeah, dump that to the market. Which you crash yet another market.
So that's just says something about how many I cycle.
Yeah. Maybe we need like
I dump.
a recycling building so some of that stuff can be turned into something else.
I tell you what, if I could do that, if I could dump all my brokens and it gives me electronic bits back and a few metal bits, I'd be very happy.
Did we just come up with a good building idea?
Oh no.
There's no
Oh, no.
recycling on Mars. We're littering everywhere. Clearly. You know we are. That's how we roll. Shoot. For me, what was it? What was the question? Hang on, I forgot. I just had a moment.
I remember now.
Oh,
What were we talking
power.
about?
Your own power, your
Power.
own food.
Yeah.
I grow my own food typically, unless I slack on my cooldowns, which I'm like your boy. Like if I have a lot going on in the day, I might just chill and relax. You know what I mean? I don't have to be on top of it all the time because it can be kind of stressful if you have a busy day. So I let life do its thing. You know, I might jump on once or twice a day, depending on what's going on. And then as far as power, I always job it out. I like supporting the market, and I don't even check Digi. Like if it's profitable or not, I'm like whatever. It always works out. And then even if sometimes where maybe I've overspent dusk, like I don't recommend like spending all your dusk and you have like 50 left, right? Save some so you have a buffer. But if I do overspend, I have some power cells that I can offload that are fully charged. Somebody will buy them, and I'm back in business again, you know? And I still job out the power just because there's so many power tasks that if I used all my stamina there, I wouldn't have it for life science. I wouldn't have it for chemistry that I'm currently using right now. And yeah. So
Yeah, I must admit, the overarching message seems to be don't stop what you're doing. You can always get it from the market. Because certainly I'm doing a lot of mining at the moment as well because I've got the mining tools and mining's really profitable for me. Which means I need a lot of power. You just go and buy it. You don't stop what you're doing because you just keep the machine rolling.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense to me.
Show must go on.
There's always an opportunity cost, right? If you can save like 0.5 dusk if you do it yourself, but then you have your building not working for 12 hours.
Yeah, I'm making like 5 dusk on a mining task. It's just like, come on, fill it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So this has been great. MarsCast 23. Any final thoughts for anybody?
I just got an achievement
because which one?
Congrats.
Because I grew 100,000 food.
Wow.
So the game asked me if I am some kind of hobbit.
And what rank were you?
This. You are the 56th Martian to complete this achievement.
Not even top 50.
Hey, top 100. That's good. That's respectable.
I suppose. Yeah,
come on.
Good.
Yeah.
There's probably people that grow like 20, 30,000 a day. Like the people that really have 150 plus artisans and use them, like Eric something. He goes through so much food.
I can see that.
My thoughts is, I just hope they get the power back on. I'd love to see the GDE in full swing. We've had a little bit of it. I know they've done some templates and stuff, so I want to see it happening.
Gotcha. Your boy, anything?
No, just play the game at your own pace. Just don't like try to reach higher than you're able to, and over time, I'm sure you're going to achieve a very fun and favorable place in the game, especially with all the upcoming updates.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So don't stress it. Don't stress it, and have fun.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing.
I like it. I like it. And we all had like different answers for that last question too, so that's cool. But yeah, I guess that's it for MarsCast 23. I appreciate you guys coming, hanging out with me and Feelix. Yeah.